In this video, we're going to be covering the circulatory system, and the circulatory system is, of course, your heart and your blood vessels. The main function of the circulatory system is going to be to transport materials. It's like a freeway system. It's like a road traveling through your body, transporting all of the materials throughout your body. The blood vessels are the ones that are providing sort of the roadway, and then what's carrying all of these materials is your blood. So your blood travels throughout your blood vessels carrying these materials. And it travels in a double loop. So it's going to go out to the lungs, back to the heart, then it goes out to the body, and then back to the heart, and then it goes again. Lungs to heart, body to heart. Let's talk about a bit about the heart. The heart is located right between your lungs. It's right underneath your sternum bone, in the middle of your chest. The heart itself is surrounded by a membrane called the pericardium. So later when we dissect the heart, you'll be able to see that pericardium around it. Our hearts have 4 chambers, 2 upper chambers and 2 lower chambers. The upper chambers are called atria or atrium. Each one is an atrium. And these are collecting chambers. So the heart enters into the atria and it collects there. And then it has 2 lower chambers called the ventricles. And those are the pumping chambers. So the blood in the ventricles are going to be pumped out. The ventricles are going to be thick, walled, strong, muscular. Now the left and right sides of the heart are completely separated. There's a thick muscle between them. And every chamber of the heart is bordered by valves, incoming valves and outgoing valves. And the valves keep the blood flowing forward. So it keeps the blood from sloshing back, which would be very bad. So here's an overview of the heart. As I just said, we have our right atrium, our right ventricle, our left atrium, and our left ventricle. Notice the thick wall between them. You might be confused about why I'm calling this right when this is the left side, because of course we're looking at the person. So you have to imagine your heart. This would be someone that you're looking at, so it's kind of reversed. But this would be the collecting chambers, and these are the pumping chambers. And then of course you have valve here, valve there, and then there's valves here that you can't see. Now in the heart, the blood that's on the right side that we just looked at, the right atrium and the right ventricle, that blood is deoxygenated. That is, it doesn't have the high level of oxygen in it because it just came from the body and it's headed to the lungs. So it's going to go to the lungs and it's going to remove the carbon dioxide at the lungs and get some oxygen. Okay? The blood on the left side, on the other hand, is oxygenated. Okay, you can see why now we have to have a separation between the left and right sides, because we don't want this oxygenated blood mixing with the deoxygenated blood. That would be bad. So the oxygenated blood just came from the lungs, and it's going to go to the body taking that oxygen. So left side oxygenated, right side deoxygenated. So let's look again at an overview of the heart. We have our right and left atria collecting chambers and our right and left ventricles pumping chambers. The blood comes in to the right atrium, passes through this valve called the tricuspid into the right ventricle, where it's going to be pumped out where? To the lungs, through this valve, which is called the pulmonary valve. It goes out to the lungs, both sides, comes back from the lungs with some oxygen, both sides. It's going to enter the left atrium, oxygenated now. It's going to pass through the mitral valve into the left ventricle, and where it's going to be pumped out the aorta, the largest artery in the body, to the body, okay? Through this valve, which is called the aortic valve, because it's going out the aorta. And if you want to back out a little bit, you can see the big picture. We have blood entering right atrium, right ventricle, out to the lungs through the pulmonary artery, coming back from the lungs to the pulmonary vein, left atrium, left ventricle, out the aorta to all the body, and then back to the heart again. That's your double loop.